Welcome to our channel where we bring you the truth behind the headlines, stories that shape our world, and breaking developments from the battlefield that others are afraid to cover. If you care about global events, make sure to subscribe, stay tuned, and never miss the reality behind the news. Now let's get into today's story that is shaking the world and changing the course of the war. The order came down suddenly, almost like a whisper in the dark, but its impact was thunderous across the front lines. Vladimir Putin has reportedly ordered a retreat from one of the most contested sectors of the war. On the surface, it sounded like a tactical maneuver, a withdrawal to regroup and reorganize. But the consequences of this decision have left more than 11,000 Russian soldiers stranded in what many are now calling the middle of hell. These troops, once part of the spearhead force, now find themselves isolated, cut off from reinforcements, and surrounded by enemy fire. Abandoned positions stretch across devastated landscapes, and the haunting silence is interrupted only by the echo of artillery and the cries of men who suddenly realize they have been left behind. For these soldiers, the retreat did not mean safety. Instead, it meant being trapped between advancing Ukrainian units and the unforgiving destruction that war brings. Witnesses describe scenes of chaos and desperation. Russian units once told to hold the line at all costs were suddenly ordered to pull back, but the timing was catastrophic. Communication lines broke down, supply routes collapsed, and armored columns retreating in haste left infantry stranded on the battlefield. Soldiers who had fought for months in muddy trenches found themselves with no cover, no ammunition, and no clear orders except one: survive if you can. This retreat has not just left men behind, it has left them psychologically shattered. Many of these troops were conscripts, young and inexperienced, sent into the war with promises of glory and victory. Now, they are caught in a nightmare where food is scarce, water is running out, and every passing hour brings a greater chance of death or capture. Reports suggest that some units have begun surrendering en masse, raising white flags not because of lack of courage, but because of the hopeless reality they face. The Ukrainian forces, emboldened by this unexpected turn of events, have been advancing swiftly, cutting off escape routes and surrounding pockets of stranded Russians. Military analysts point out that this is not just a battlefield loss, it is a strategic disaster for Moscow. Losing 11,000 men, either killed, captured, or left behind, sends a clear message to the world that Russian command is cracking under pressure. Families back in Russia are beginning to ask questions. Mothers, wives, and children who were told their loved ones were serving the motherland are now hearing whispers of abandonment and betrayal. Videos are surfacing on social media showing captured soldiers pleading for their lives, explaining how they were deserted by their commanders. These images are spreading like wildfire, igniting outrage not only among ordinary Russians but even among military veterans who see this retreat as dishonorable and reckless. On the ground, the conditions are apocalyptic. Burned-out vehicles litter the roads. Fields once filled with crops are now craters of mud and fire. The air reeks of gunpowder and smoke. For the stranded Russian soldiers, each night is a gamble against drone strikes, artillery barrages, and the biting cold. They huddle in broken houses, abandoned barns, or shallow ditches, praying that reinforcements will come. But reinforcements are not coming. The retreat order was final. Those left behind are considered expendable, their lives written off in a desperate attempt to save face on the global stage. Military experts suggest that Putin's decision to retreat may have been influenced by growing international pressure, sanctions biting deeper, and the realization that sustaining heavy casualties without any real progress is politically dangerous. But the way the retreat was executed has exposed cracks in the Russian military machine. Instead of a disciplined withdrawal, it turned into chaos, and chaos turned into catastrophe. The stranded soldiers are now a symbol of everything wrong with the war effort. They are the human faces of political decisions made far from the front lines, decisions where ordinary lives are reduced to numbers on a map. 11,000 is not just a statistic, it is 11,000 fathers, sons, and brothers, each one with a story, now trapped in what can only be described as hell on earth. Meanwhile, Ukraine has seized this opportunity not only militarily but also diplomatically. Footage of abandoned Russian equipment, captured prisoners, and liberated villages is being shared across the world, boosting morale for their allies and further isolating Moscow. For Ukraine, this retreat is proof that resilience and determination can turn the tide even against a larger adversary. For Russia, it is a humiliating reminder that power on paper does not always translate to success on the battlefield. The stranded soldiers continue to fight for survival. Some groups are reportedly attempting to break through enemy lines, risking everything in desperate night raids. Others have resigned themselves to fate, waiting for capture, or worse. Ukrainian commanders are cautious, knowing that a cornered enemy can still be dangerous, but they also recognize the unique opportunity this situation presents. The encirclement of 11,000 troops is something that could shape the next chapters of the war. Back in the Kremlin, silence dominates official channels. State-controlled media downplays the retreat, calling it a repositioning or a tactical maneuver, carefully avoiding words like defeat or abandonment. But on the ground, the truth is undeniable. Satellite images, eyewitness accounts, and independent journalists confirm what is happening. A retreat has turned into a disaster, and thousands of men are paying the ultimate price for decisions made far above their heads. History is filled with moments where retreats have defined wars. From ancient battles to modern conflicts, pulling back can either save an army or destroy it. For Russia, this moment may be remembered not as a strategic move but as a tragic blunder. The images of soldiers stranded, their eyes filled with fear and despair, will linger long after the smoke clears. And as the world watches, one question remains: how many more will have to suffer before the lessons are finally learned? This story is still unfolding, and we will continue to bring you updates as they happen. If you want to stay informed about the truth behind the headlines, make sure to subscribe to our channel, share this video with others, and leave your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think this retreat marks the beginning of a larger collapse, or is it just another chapter in a long and brutal war? Let us know what you think. Thank you for watching and for seeking the truth in a world full of noise. Stay safe, stay informed, and we will see you in the next video.